For over 4 decades, he was a shadow in the night, a faceless predator who stalked his victims, leaving a trail of terror, pain, and mystery. Known by many names, the East Area Rapist, the original Night Stalker, but the world would come to fear him as the Golden State Killer. Between 1974 and 1986, a ruthless serial predator terrorized the state of California. More than 50 rapes, at least 13 murders, and countless burglaries. The Golden State Killer was methodical, sadistic, and for decades, he remained completely anonymous. The terror began in Northern California in the early 1970s. A masked intruder, known as the East Area Rapist, would break into homes, binding his victims with shoelaces, ransacking their belongings, and assaulting them in ways too horrific to imagine. He stalked his victims before the attacks, learning their routines, even calling them on the phone, sometimes before the attack, sometimes long after, to remind them that he was still watching. In 1979, the attacks took a darker turn. The rapist evolved into a killer. His crimes became even more violent, and by the early 1980s, he was known as the original Night Stalker, claiming victims across Southern California. His victims ranged from young couples to single women, all targeted within the safety of their own homes. The Golden State Killer was no ordinary criminal. He was a ghost, leaving little forensic evidence behind. Despite extensive investigations, the case grew cold. For decades, police and FBI profilers struggled to identify this elusive killer. With no leads and no suspect, the case seemed destined to remain unsolved. In 2018, a team of investigators used a groundbreaking approach, genetic genealogy. By uploading crime scene DNA into a public ancestry database, authorities were able to trace family connections, leading them to one man, James DeAngelo, a former police officer, a man who had hidden in plain sight for decades. When authorities arrested him at his home in Citrus Heights, California, the world finally saw the face of the Golden State Killer. In June 2020, DeAngelo pleaded guilty to 13 murders and dozens of other crimes. He avoided the death penalty but was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. For the victims and their families, justice had been a long time coming. Though no punishment could undo the horror he inflicted, DeAngelo would spend the rest of his life behind bars. The Golden State Killer case changed history. It revolutionized forensic science, proved the power of DNA technology, and showed the world that even the most elusive criminals can be caught. But the question remains, how many others like him are still out there, waiting in the dark? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. Do you think justice was truly served? Thank you for watching. If you found this case chilling, hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss another deep dive into the darkest corners of true crime. Until next time, stay safe and stay aware.